Ford stock fell by 12% in a single day, which was the worst crash for the company ever since recession. So why did this happen? Sit tight as I take you through recent news as well as a chart analysis and price forecast for the stock. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for regular stock market updates. The Wall Street had estimated a $2.9 billion profit for Ford's Q3 results, but it was really off. Ford announced on Monday that the third quarter's profit will be between $1.4 billion to $1.7 billion, mainly because limitation of auto parts freezed about 45,000 trucks and SUVs, and as a result, they couldn't be delivered. The Wall Street says that this will put more stress on the fourth quarter results if they want to achieve their $12 billion yearly EBITDA estimates. Apart from that, Ford had announced a $50 billion investment towards EV production back in May this year, and this capital will supposedly be used over a period of 4 years. Following up, Ford has given a take it or leave it opportunity for dealerships. If they choose to invest more money and become EV certified, they'll continue to receive EV vehicles, but in case they don't, they'll lose the right to sell EV vehicles by 2024. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1-day chart for Ford, and as always, we'll first analyze the 1-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to end it off, we'll get into the 5-minute chart. Now, right off the bat, you guys can see that this over here, 20th September, was the day when the stock crashed really bad. But I already told you guys that this crash is coming in my previous analysis when I gave you this level over here, around $13.10. And as you guys can see, we did close the day at the exact point at $13.10, $13.9. After that, as you guys can see, we are currently in somewhat of an accumulation phase, right? We opened a gap up at the price of around $13.24, and currently we're at a price of $13.51. I believe that we might face resistance over here around 13.51 or 13.8 or maybe $14. So let me mark that level for you real quick. Let's just say $14 over here, for example, right? This would probably prove to be a psychological resistance. But apart from that, we already talked about that psychological resistance over here. But now the real question that comes up is, where is the Ford stock headed? Well, in my opinion, currently it is in somewhat of a bearish scenario. So I believe that it can revisit these levels over here, right? But I believe that these levels over here that it made in May might come back after this, right? So we might make a pattern somewhat like this, right? We were going down, right? We made somewhat of an inflation. Now we'll go through some deflation, and after that we might go back again. But it really depends on many factors and not just technical analysis. Apart from this, as you guys already know, that the earnings report will come out on 26th October. So I believe that the stock will continue to go down until the earnings report is out. And if it's bearish, well, that's even worse, I guess, right? But as long as we get a good earnings report on 26th October, it shouldn't be a problem. So I personally would believe that the stock would be a good buy around the $10 or the $9 level, but before that, I personally won't be buying. Now let's assume that the stock did go down to this level. So what would be a good trade, right? What would be a good stop loss and a target? In my opinion, if I were trading this, I guess my stop loss would definitely be around this level over here, around $8.5. So let me mark that real quick, $8.5. And on the other hand, my target would be somewhere around this level that it made, around $16, I would say. So that would leave me with a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio, and that's pretty good, honestly, considering a stock such as Ford, which has been underperforming for a long time. But to analyze the stock in depth and look at the current market movements as well, let's quickly jump into the 1-hour chart. Now that we're in the 1-hour chart, we can see that the $15 level was acting up over here around this range, as you guys can see, from 13th September all the way till the massive crash on 20th September, right? And the supports that were acting up were around the $14.5 zone that we already discussed. Now, if we look at the current price levels, we can see that the stock is making somewhat of a negative trend again. Well, let me explain myself real quick. We did go up, but we will likely get a pullback, right? I know that we recently made a green candle, but we might just squeeze in into the range, right? If we don't make big wicks in this candle, it would probably just prove pointless. So I believe that this candle would probably end like this itself, right? Just not that volatile, maybe less volatile than the past one, because then again, it's just mid-market hours. But after that, when the volumes strike, we'll probably go down a bit further and maybe break the support today. Now, another scenario would suggest that bulls start buying over here, taking it as an accumulation zone, but I personally believe that those who really know what they're doing with the food stock probably won't buy around these levels. With that being said, let's jump into the 5-minute charts and analyze the daily movements. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 5-minute chart, and I personally believe that this level that we are trying to cross over here would probably result in somewhat of a double top at this point, right? 13.57, somewhere around 13.6, $13.55. And once we make a double top over here, we'll probably continue the bearish trend. Looking at the candlestick patterns in detail, we can see that there were some insider candles over here and over here as well, right? There were not any engulfing candles as such, but there was definitely this reversal over here that we saw, right? We can see that, as you guys can see, not that big of a green candle. After that, we got somewhat of an inside candle, then a pretty big candle. I don't know what to call this, right? After that, the bearish trend continued after this resistance. Then we had somewhat of a floor over here. We were getting supported around $13.46 intraday. And as I already told you guys, we're currently getting another bearish candle on the 5-minute chart because we've been going for like 4 or 5 candles for a straight bull run. And that never works with stocks such as food. So if we take a look at the past performance of the stock as well, we can clearly see that this bearish trend over here was pretty much a perfect bearish trend in my opinion. As you guys can see, we were getting small pullbacks and then it was pretty much a wave of sell-offs, right? But it did continue into the next day, right? It did get forwarded into the next day. And now as you guys can see, we made these candles over here with kind of a lot of buying pressure, but still I believe that we will eventually go down because even the VIX suggests that there is still seller pressure, and even if it's mid-market, it will eventually, turn things around when the volumes kick in. So if I were to give you guys a possible scenario, in my opinion, it would be that we hover into this range for the midday, and when the volumes kick in, we probably will break out of the support, right? I am still pretty much bearish on the stock, as I already told you guys, and I believe that it will take a day or two to, get out of this $13.10 support, but it will eventually happen, right? We will need a stronger level like the $12 or the $11 level to bounce back up, or we might just keep wandering around in the 13 12 13 $12 range until the earnings report come out. So with that being said, I'm giving the stock a neutral rating, right? I won't tell you to sell if you have any, and I won't tell you to buy if you don't have any, because well, I personally won't be buying right now, that's for sure. Even though the entire car market was performing pretty well, Ford did slack off on some days, and that's a negative sign for me. If I were to give it a price prediction, I would probably say that a 1 year target of these exact levels would be pretty good, but that's not a very intelligent move if you buy it at these high levels. I would believe that the stock should go down to the $11 range, and once that is done, anything below $11 should be good. And once that is done, I've already told you guys that the stock can get to the $15 or $16 range in like another year. If we talk about 2022, I do not believe that the stock will go up in this year unless we get some good earnings report or some massive news. But then again, I could be wrong because this is just my own opinion and not financial advice. So make sure that you trade after doing your own research. If you enjoyed my analysis, however, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.